commentaries on prayer.
We can do that, but I didn't want to take away.
No, he's prepared for certain things, but you can ask a question and we bring it back next time. But he's got preparation. He knows where
The thing is this, I don't want to
no,
take too much time.
Right. Don't take away from your idea. Just go. Like I said, there are things.
There are.
Why do you pick this particular book?
I found it very beautiful.
What's the name of that one?
Medrash Rabbah, and this is Yofar Torah, means beautiful of form.
Who is it? An individual?
Yeah, great rabbi that gave all these great rabboni call out from all the sources, commentaries, other commentaries, to present their concepts. They don't just make this up, get it from earlier sources.
Oh, sure, like the...
yeah, in other words...
Kirk-Elvis.
Everything, yes. And there's no question about it. Everything is there. There's many sources where you can go and comment on it. And
is there a final comment on the Medrash?
Never final.
No.
We have, and today, during the 6-Day War,
yeah.
I wrote a treatise on a certain halachic principle. I wrote it in Hebrew. And I've taught it in this class several times. If you want, I can teach it again. But
what was the summary on it?
The summary was on whether or not it's more important to learn Torah or to get married.
No. How can you be kabul, which is one of the big mitzvahs of our Torah?
Yeah,
you don't
then Torah do the mitzvahs right. You have certain priorities. What takes priority first, and what is there. The majority opinion appears to be if a person is serious about his learning, that they give him time to learn before he gets married. But on the other hand, if you wait too long, your box is children. Yes, and so there's a way to value it. And I discussed it.
So Shmuel was 90 years old when he got married.
He was 96.
So why?
All he had was daughters, didn't have any sons. God wishes, you could have it any time.
96 years old when he got married. The one that took over Moses' responsibility?
Yeah, because he was learning all that time.
Yeah, 40 years, that we just heard.
And
yeah.
The thing I was wondering when you were reading that is that the Torah goes in detail,
yes,
but it doesn't go in detail into the prayer.
Oh yes, the Gemara detail.
I think that would be very fascinating to get us into prayer.
Okay,
I think that would be an incredible.
The 5 books of Moses.
The thing is, gentlemen, I don't even pretend to cover all the material that we have there because it's an ocean. All I'm trying to do, and I tell you quite frankly, I'm trying to motivate you to the point that you will be inspired to put in the time and effort that is required in order for you to become competent, that you yourself can develop the skills, and I'm prepared with God's help to try to teach them to you, to be able to learn in the sources yourself. And then the possibilities are limitless. You can go and delve into any area you want to. I can now, bro. Thanks God. I can go into any area there. I can make intelligence out of it and go further and teach others. That I would like all of you to get to that competence.
Excuse me, where do you find the information on the davening, the prayers? Is that right? I got it at home.
No, I know, but it's unfortunately it's limited. Hebrew and Aramaic, yes. I'm trying to teach
the book of who?
Gentlemen, if you would find it within your heart to come to me on a regular basis, I teach you how to read Rashi, how to read Gemara, teach you how to read Medrash, all the things, all the tools that you need. And all you have to do is keep on plugging away. Before you know it, lo and behold, you can do it. And the best example of it is myself. I was born in Chicago Heights, where it was a Nesminish Shemayim that could even daven broken Hebrew. My mother used to apologize to everybody that met me. Please forgive me, I tried to educate my son, but we didn't have any better to teach him. And they used to hire and fire every 3 months. It was just a pathetic thing. I couldn't learn anything, I couldn't do anything, but I persisted, and somehow God made it that eventually my parents brought me to a yeshiva. When they bring me a yeshiva, not when I was 10 years old, when you're young, I was 22 years old, a grown man. I was already a graduate of a college, and I was going to law school. They brought me at that time to yeshiva, and all I could do was daven a broken Hebrew. But Baruch Hashem, I persisted, and I was in yeshiva for 13 years, until Baruch Hashem, I could teach others, Well, and I've been doing it ever since. For the last 30 years or more, I've been teaching. And even before that, even before I graduated, I was teaching. And there's no reason in the world why any Jew should be boxed out of his inheritance. This is your inheritance. The Torah is so beautiful. And the reasoning for all the things found in the Gemara and the Medrash and everything, and it's available.
What about this Art Scroll series? Is that the closest that we're going to come to really understand if we don't have the Hebrew?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think it's beautiful as far as it goes. And again,
the Medrash says is another very important.
Beautiful, very beautiful.
Medrash goes into the Chumash.
Andrew says the only one that hasn't read the Medrash says
You.
myself. Forgive me. Very good, very good. But again, it's just somebody else digesting it for you. And the much better way is you digesting it for yourself. Your own capacity to do it. Because unfortunately, sometimes people give you, they do not emphasize things that you should emphasize if you become. Now, I would like to go a few psukim more, and we've already covered some psukim in the first chapter of Book of Esther. I think we got up to verse 14.
Real quick, the Siddur in English. Now they got one out. I always thought they should put one out. Now they also have a linear Masuda Siddur. Now they have the Art Scroll Siddur. Of the three Siddurs, which one would you feel would really give you an insight?
But in your state of knowledge,
yeah.
The Art Scroll Siddur is pretty good.
I got to go with the Art Scroll.
Pretty good.
Because I took away the other prophets. I put them aside and not really.
Don't let somebody mess you up. This is learning Esther. You'll find the Book of Esther in the Chumash with Rashi. Doesn't mean
there was another thing. I was studying the Chumash, all the things. I'd like to maybe get before we finish, just a synopsis of basically what it looked like. And
Is there anything wrong with facing this way?
No. I want you to understand. Perfectly all right too. And the Gemara says the directions in which the Shekhinah is, the divine presence of God, is either toward the east or the west.
Upstairs,
Either direction.
upstairs, no, it's not.
It doesn't make any difference. In truth, God is everywhere.
It's okay to have it north.
When you're learning Torah, God is in our presence. We're in the presence of Almighty God. When one Jew learns Torah, so we have, but thanks God, more than one. Learning Torah, God, we have God in our presence. Be honored by the great presence of God. And therefore, when we learn Torah, we must learn it correctly, because we're under the scrutiny of the one that gave it. And he will not tolerate anybody messing up his Torah. That's why, another reason why we should learn, in order not to mess ourselves up. We don't need to be our own worst enemy. And unfortunately, if we remain ignorant, we are in fact our own worst enemy. There's nothing to do about whether or not you would like to not to be. In fact, that's what it is. It's like a person that has eyes and refuses to open up his eyes to look. There's no way in the world that somebody can help you. God gave you the eyes, you're supposed to use them for looking. In the same fashion, God gave you a Torah, you're supposed to use it to learn how to live. If God forbid the Torah remains a closed book to you, you're boxed out of what to do the proper thing, and there's no reason for that. As an agent of God, in a very humble fashion, I am prepared to try to open the doors to make you knowledgeable. All I ask you to do is to show up the times I show up. I don't say to even do more than I'm doing. I teach 6 times a week. 4 times here, 2 times in the other show. I don't say you have to walk all that. I walk all that distance. Because I'm trying to save Yiddish neshamas, a Jewish soul.
Where do you live?
I live at 6543 North Artesian. I have to walk over a mile on Shabbos in order to try to route the Yiddish neshamas. By me, this is a Maisa Kodesh. It's a holy work.
Sure.
When I come here to teach, not every day am I full of. I have a responsibility to my God, to your God, to teach and to keep on teaching. And no matter, even if we have only a few that are coming to learn, keeping on plugging away, because in truth, we are dealing with our souls. Remember we learned yesterday? God says to the Jewish people, you have something of mine in your possession.
Yeah, right.
And I got something of yours in my possession. If you will watch what I have, I will watch what you got. What have you got in your possession? My Torah. What have I got of yours in my possession? Your soul. You watch my part, I'll watch yours. You will cause mine, I'll cause yours to be lost. And that's playing it right on the line. There's no playing games. God means for keeps. He means it's serious. And so we should go along with that and try our best to measure up. Yud Dalet. Simalea, could you read it?
Yes. Ve'akore elov admosa marsnon shiva sorei furas limodai roe b'nei hamela.
I said after Vayikra. You're too far.
Oh, it's in the middle. Okay.
Perik Aleph. The first Perik. Down near the beginning. Now, up to now, the king, Pharaoh, was having a big feast. They were having a feast not for one day, not for a week, but for 180 days. If you can imagine people sitting down to having a feast for 180 days.
Doesn't the measure say 14 months?
Whatever it was.
Here it is.
It was just unbelievable, the splendor in which they had their feast at that time. And they got drunk, and so they started boasting about the beautiful wives that they had. So the king says, I'll prove my wife is more beautiful than yours. Order her to come here, stark naked, just with the crown on her head. You'll see that she's the most beautiful woman in the world. And of course, he wouldn't go along with this because she was a very sensuous type, and she would delight to save her and everything like that. But God was paying her in kind. She had taken Jewish girls and made them strip completely naked and work on Shabbos. That was her direction for religion. So God punished her that on Shabbos she'd have this request made of her, and then there's a dispute in the Chazal as to exactly what God made happen to her. One was that he covered her completely with Sarah. Another one is Gabriel, the angel, put a tail on her, which certainly doesn't make it very attractive unless you're an animal with a tail. So either way, she refused to come. And so this precipitated what they're supposed to do about it. In the first place, ridiculous that he orders she be killed because she doesn't want to go naked in front of him. I mean, the whole thing is, it defies any concept of any type of proper judgment. At any rate, the king is now asking advice of his officers, the top officers. What's the translation they put there?
So I get the linear view until your Rashi is really Karshena and Shevish and Meretz and Marsena and Persian media, those who regularly beheld the big wigs.
Big wigs. Now, you see all these strange names. You read a lot of names there, and you what's this? So this is what Chazal tells us it means. This is a Gemara in Megillah that the Mim was quoting. It says like this. Rabbi Levi says, Kol Posek Zeh, this entire verse, Al Shem Karbonos Nomar, is talking about the various types of sacrifices that Jewish people offered to God when they had a temple. Karshono, the first name, this was now an argument in heaven. The angels don't allow this wicked woman to destroy the Jewish people. Don't allow this. So he, the master of the world, have they offered, have these goyim offered cows that were a year old, as it was offered for you? Why are you going to destroy a nation that has served you faithfully so many years? Oh, it's true, right now they're exiled, and the temple destroyed, but why destroy them when this other nation hasn't done any of these things, these holy things? And then first, so Karshona. Karshona is referring to Korim. Korim means cow Shana, of a year old. That's the first name. The next word, Shesor. What does Shesor mean? Klum, Tikrivu, Lefanecha, Shtei, Korim. Did they offer before you little doves? People, when they were poor and they had to bring a korban, offered doves. And then the next word, Avmoso. And what does that mean? Klum. Did they build before you an altar of dirt like it was supposed to be built? They never made any altars for you. They always worship idols. They never worship you. Only the Jewish people have been faithful to you in this regard. And then the next name, Tarshish, what does that mean? Tarshish, one of the garments of the Kohanim was made out of fine linen. Did they ever serve you with fine linen? They never served you at all. But for this purposes, we're talking about the Sibuhu, Tarshish, Yeshoam, V'Yoshpa. Various articles made up the Kahuna. Then the next, Marsanov. What does that refer to? Klum, they hand in front of you the carbonates with the blood and the meal offering. And then the final word, Amuchon, actually means in Hebrew for preparation, prepare something. Did they ever prepare a table in front of you? So this is one explanation of the Jewish people when they would go, for instance, a table. When you sit and eat at a table, you bench. You thank God for the food. Exactly. All the mitzvahs that the Jews are doing, it would be a God destroyed the Jewish people. Because who else is as faithful? Maybe they have relapses from time to time, but in relation to the other goyim, we're pretty good. It's just that unfortunately we have to measure up to a higher standard, and sometimes, unfortunately, we don't measure up. But so they were pleading. There's a hidden meaning to all these words, and don't make the assumption that just reading words, so what difference does it make what the guys' names are? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It doesn't make any difference what the names are, but the fact that these names have a significance in and of themselves.
Wasn't one of these named eventually Yisrael?
No, we'll get to the next puzzle.
Huh?
Puzzle. The next puzzle. All right, Joe, read the next puzzle.
Wait, what about the 7 princes?
These are the 7 princes. It was really this is a explanation of why these types of names. Go further.
But were they actually 7 princes there?
They were pleading for the Jewish people?
No, you must understand.
Yeah.
These names are a key to the argument that the angel came to God, why he should not destroy the Jewish people. Yes, that's all.
How could you argue for the Jewish people, the 7 people who are not Jewish?
Again,
I'm sorry.
it's difficult for us to understand that we're dealing with the tip of an iceberg. There's nothing, no passage in the entire Tanakh that hasn't got a hidden meaning in it. It says, how can you go on? So you take the name of 7 goyim and you make a drasha. The hidden meaning exists throughout the entire Tanakh.
No, they can make a drasha, but how can you make an appeal based on the name?
The words that were mentioned in
Maybe
the
we can
book
look
of Esther were divinely inspired.
Can I say something?
In other words, these words were used to mention these 7 people.
Okay, it says, Karo Belov. It means that those who are close to him, right?
Now here we have another key word, Hamelach, the king.
No, but Karo...
We don't always talk when we're talking Hamelach, the king. We're talking about Ahasuerus. We're talking about the ones that are close to God. You read it one way, as though it's talking about Ahasuerus, and in truth it's talking about the heavenly argument. You understand? I know it's hard for us to understand this.
No, I mean, there's
Yeah.
Then it says Yamel, that they saw the face of God.
Yeah.
Could be.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. We cannot learn the Torah simplistically. There's no way in the world. Yeah. All right, let's go to another puzzle. All right, Joe, you want to read the next puzzle? There's so much material there.
You can read it just to read it
No, word.
literally.
You hear it every year. You hear the whole thing here. We haven't even finished the first chapter. I don't even know if we'll finish, let alone all the chapters. But that's the way we always learn all assuring. I'm just giving you a hint of the beauty and the depth of God's Torah. And I'm trying to inspire you to the point where you will say to yourself, I cannot remain ignorant of my inheritance. I will pursue and keep on learning. And even if it comes a time when, thanks God, you get to the point that you can learn very well, and no longer can Rabbi Friedlander teach you anything, I assure you, I will not be upset at all if you can persist in learning it by other Rabbonim that are much greater than me in every way, and learn by them. I will be the happiest person in the world to see that this is happening. And then eventually that you become great Gedolim in Israel, and you teach great thousands of and wonderful, and you become a great Gadol and everything. Even if after that I say to you, And they'll say to me, I'm still around, with God's help.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you don't compare it to this great stone
Yeah.
and everything. I know it's hard for you to believe. So he's my Talmud. And a Talmud, Chazal tell us, a father is never jealous of a child. If the child excels them,
Mother.
you can't possibly feel hurt by it.
Depends on the father and depends on the mother.
Yeah.
All right, but again, these names are they're goyim that are sitting with the king, but the significance of them, they're close to Hashem because
Yeah.
of
Can I explain
Yeah,
something?
I
Okay.
explain.
Okay, whenever we learn Torah, we can learn it in different ways. One way we learn it is Pshat, and the other way we can learn it is Drush.
Yeah.
The Pshat in the pasuk would be that these were the names of who were the princes, whatever, of Persian media. Now then, we can learn also a drush in the Torah. There's always things that we can learn out of everything. Nothing is just simplistic. So from the same sentence, we can learn it more than one way, and it can mean more than one thing, depending how we learn it. And that goes for any pasuk. Like sometimes, we learn Chumash. We learn the Rashbam. The Rashbam always gives you just plain pshat. He'll just learn. When we learn Rashi, though, he gives you a lot of times the drush. He gives you the medrash and everything. There's different ways of learning the Torah, and they're both just as good. You can learn it just on different levels.
Yeah.
If a person's not as on a high such a level, maybe you can just learn pshat. If he's on a higher level, then he can learn the
This
drush.
drush gives you more understanding of what
Well,
the
I-
seven princes sitting with the king. That's Shach. Drush, which was the brings in the medrash.
Then we learn